Hi everyone, welcome back to the second edition of Leg by Leg. This time we're doing a sprint course. This was a sprint course run today in Christchurch. It was the Canterbury School Sprint Champs, so the total opposite to our first Leg by Leg, which was the Hog's Back Ultra Long. So that was hilly and dense and very tough, and this is flat and fast in Hagley Park in Christchurch. The two guests I've got on today are Isabella and Daisy. They're two local girls from Christchurch, and they had a good time today out on course and are here to share their thoughts on the decisions they made, the types of planning and the navigational style that they were using out on the very flat and very fast course this morning. I think this leg by leg video is most appropriate for beginner orienteers. Maybe they're at school and in their first or second year orienteering and are getting a hang of the process, I think, that the more experienced orienteers are using when they look at the map. What things are they thinking about? What are they using? What are they not using? How are they making their life easier for themselves? So I think if you are still really unfamiliar with different colors on a sprint map, then maybe just touch up on them first. Maybe ask your school coach or someone you know just to fill you in on the colors, because we don't spend much time going through that level of basic orienteering stuff. But I think it's definitely one targeted at beginners. So hope you enjoy it. Welcome back to Leg by Leg. I've got Daisy and Isabella here, who have run Canterbury School's Sprint Champs earlier today. How did you guys enjoy the course?
I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. A little bit too much running for me, but still had a good time.
Daisy?
Oh yeah, it was a good day. I liked running through all the trees and stuff in the gardens.
Sweet. Well, let's get into the course, and hopefully you can give some insights to some newer orienteers about how you guys approach the sprint orienteering. What about number one? What are your thoughts on this?
For number one, straight away, I orientated my map and I could see the tennis courts right in front of me. So I went right around the tennis courts.
So that's
yeah,
these bits there with
and
tennis
just
courts.
followed the fence, and then I saw the building and ran around the edge of the bush to the little picnic table or bench.
Mm-hmm. Did that bush stand out?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, so there's nothing else similar in the area. All these trees were probably big, tall trees, and the green showing something more dense. So you've done just something like that. Yeah. Very safe. Daisy? Similar?
I did the exact same route, but the first thing I saw was the building, because I'd seen other people run to it, and it just I saw it was in the control circle, so I just ran to it first.
Cool. Number two, slightly longer one, maybe a choice to be made.
I decided to just follow the fence the whole way around the top, because it just jumped out to me first.
So north around the fence, or even south? Okay.
Yeah.
So you've gone down here. What about the approach into the control? There's lots of trees here.
Yeah, I ran to like the corner of the car park in there, and then I did this quick bearing, and I looked up and I could actually see the control through the trees.
Okay, you could see the flag from here. Sweet. And you can do that when it's flat and there's no dense vegetation. Yeah. Cool. Isabella?
I actually went the exact same way and went to the edge of the car park as well.
You used this as well. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a really obvious safe feature. There's no other car park corner to use. Did you see any of the other features on the way?
Oh yeah, I saw
what were these?
I think they were benches.
Yeah.
And I saw
park benches.
them on either side of me, so I ran in between them.
The tree was also pretty obvious. It was either going to be that one or the one just to the left of it. So when I looked up before I even saw the control, I could see these two big trees. So
And because they're done with the big distinctive tree symbol, they should be different to these smaller trees in here.
Yes.
Was that the case?
Yeah, the smaller ones were kind of almost bushes.
Little bushes?
Yeah, not exactly bushes, but they weren't like big trees like the ones with the green circle.
Yeah, they were quite obvious because the branches like hung around them, which is what the white is.
Oh, yep. Yeah, the canopy of the
Yeah.
trees. Yep. Number 3, how did you do this one?
Number 3, I actually didn't do the cleanest.
Oh, yeah?
I got a bit distracted. There were quite a few controls between, and I didn't read my map properly. And as soon as I saw a control, I went to it when it wasn't mine, because there was one on that tree and that rock.
One there and one there.
But my plan was to just run straight out to that path and then just run along
So that's the path there.
the path until I saw the rock. And then,
This rock. Oh, yeah.
since there was a nice vegetation boundary of that white,
So this is the edge of the
Yeah.
white and the yellow. So this yellow bit is just grass
Yeah.
without any
it really
branches
stood out. So
above you.
it was quite easy to run in, and then you could see the flag when you got.
Cool. So did you run through like that, or did you go straight to the path?
I ran through where you've got the line.
Oh, yeah. And then
Just like
along
angle.
the track, and then once you're past the tree and the rock,
Yeah.
you're looking for a park bench.
Yeah, it's
again?
the
Oh,
park.
sorry, it's actually on the small tree beside
Yeah.
the bench. Yeah. Daisy?
I did the same thing as the line basically, apart from I went out of the control to 2, well, from 2, at a bit of a weirder angle. I just saw the
More
open,
straight to the path.
and so it just looked easier, so I just ran that way.
So you run a bit longer, but it's still quite safe. Number 4, a longer one again. How are you thinking about this one?
My plan for this one was to follow the path.
So you get a little closer
Yeah.
to 3.
Follow the path kind of around that follows the river.
Did you not want to cross the river?
It was the bushes looked quite thick,
Oh, yeah.
so I just thought it would be,
So the green here was the obstacle for you.
yeah, I thought it would just be easier to follow the path out and then just over the bridge.
Over the bridge. Nice.
And then follow that
And
path.
you're just boosting along here.
And, sorry, it went
too
this
hard.
one. It went
Yeah.
down that one to about where the tree was. The one tree by itself on the left of the
Down this path.
Yeah.
And so you've seen this
And then,
big green circle there.
And then I kind of cut up to that big intersection kind of thing happening. Just up here.
Oh, yep. So you've crossed onto the other path, followed the
Yeah.
intersection, followed to the intersection.
Yeah, and then, don't know what I was thinking. Instead of following that path, I kind of just followed the line and then just cut down some trees and crossed the river.
You went straight across. Nice. Yeah. That's
And then
good stuff.
ran into the maze and just took it. I slowed down a bit here to
Mhm.
make sure I got on the right path.
Yep.
Because I didn't really want to go unnecessarily around.
Yep.
To get in.
Sweet. Daisy, did you do something similar?
Yeah, I did. I followed the same route as Isabella, but I kept going until the second junction.
Oh, yeah.
And then this was all grass with a few daffodils, and so I was just kind of ran through that, and I was looking up, and I could actually see that like it was a big pillar circle thing. Pavilion.
This canopy.
Yeah.
The grey
And
canopy
so
there. Yep.
I just had my eyes on that, and I ran towards that, and then went over the bridge.
Cool. That's a really good use of the visibility because you can see really far, so you should use
Yeah.
that as much as you can. Cool. And then over the bridge, and again,
Slowing
precisely through the gaps.
Yeah.
Nice. On to 5.
For 5, I just looked up and I could see those 2 big trees, so I pretty much just ran straight for it, and it was,
These 2 trees here
Yeah, it
stand
just-
out.
was pretty
Yeah.
obvious. And then when I got about halfway, I could actually see the control, so I
Mhm.
just tried to boost it to there.
Did you look and see the corner
Yeah,
of the fence there? Because that's also quite distinctive.
I used the fence to orientate my map.
Yeah.
So I just looked up and I could see that.
See this straight, very
yeah.
straight edge here, so you know you have to go a slight angle from the edge. Daisy?
For this one, I could kind of see the contours, like the shape of it on the ground.
So you're looking at this higher area here, shown by the ground contours?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I looked up, and so it was the only contour on the map, so I just knew it was there.
Yep. And you're on the right-hand end of this high hill.
And as I got closer, I could see the bench in the control.
Nice. 6?
Just followed that little path. It was a bit indistinct, but like...
As mapped?
Yeah. I could see the bridge, so just ran straight anyway. And then as soon as I crossed the bridge, I could see the building, and then you kind of had to go down this little bank, and the control was just tucked in there, so...
Cool. Daisy? Probably
I
the
did
same.
the exact same thing.
Yep. And on to 7?
For 7, the open area and the white was pretty runnable. So I just went straight, and I could see the pavilion before, so it was a good point to aim for. So I ran straight for that. And then I went through the white gap where you're drawing now, and then I just followed that.
The big path?
Yeah, it was a nice big track into the control.
I did the same thing for that one as well.
Cool. And on to 8, 7 to 8.
Again, it was nice and open, so I just...
So this is this big white area there. It should be probably just grass on the ground under the
there
trees.
was a few daffodils and stuff, so it was...
Oh, right. This is... Okay, I drove along here today, actually.
Yeah.
Along this road. Yeah, that's really nice. Oh,
It was
cool.
quite pretty. So I pretty much followed the line, but I decided to aim off slightly, so I knew that I'd be sure I was on the right side of the control when I got to the path. And...
Which direction were you aiming off? To the north or south?
North.
Yep.
And
you're coming along and you're intentionally going this way so that when you hit the path or the river, or what were you looking for?
I was looking for that first path initially.
Yep. And then you know you have to head that direction.
But as I got a bit closer, the bush just south of the control circle really stood out.
Oh, yep.
So I knew that that was going to be that bush, so I ran straight for the bush that it was on.
Cool.
And it was quite obvious when you got closer because there was nothing else around that was like it.
Daisy?
I did sort of the same thing. I just went straight looking for that path, and I could see it like because it was so open. And then I continued, but I headed more left because I knew I would see this junction. And then I saw the bush that Isabella saw because it was very obvious.
This guy here?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I could see the control.
Yeah. So that's really good using the visibility. Again, you can probably see this from some distance, so use that to your advantage. 9?
For 9, I just followed the path around all the way to the bridge, and when I got to the bridge, I took the one that leads to the control, and when I was there, I just looked up and I could actually see the control.
So there's a lot of trees in this area.
Yeah.
How are you distinguishing one tree from the other, or is it just fortunate that you could see the flag?
For that one, it was fortunate, but for the others, I just slowed my pace a little bit and just tried to take a good bearing, so I would get in the...
So you're using your compass off the corner of the track to make sure everything's in line?
Yeah.
Daisy, how are you approaching the trees here so you don't accidentally get the wrong tree, because I imagine some of them look quite similar to each other?
Yeah, the thing which I found the most helpful were the trees with the canopies, because
so that's the big distinctive trees.
They looked big on the map, and then they were really big in person. And so I kept the big tree on my right hand side, and I knew the control would be next to it.
And 10, short leg.
I just kind of took a bearing and ran in that direction.
Cool. So for a short leg, you're using your compass and not wasting any time. Going dead straight, no reason not to. Could you see these denser green patches behind the control?
Yeah, they were sort of bushes, and so you couldn't really run through them, so they like kept you going in the right direction.
Yeah, it's quite safe. You'll run straight into them if you go too far. 11?
For 11, I took a bearing and I had a few spots along the way that I was looking for. So I was looking for that big tree first. And then after I saw that, I looked up and I wanted to find that bench.
Park bench?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I got to that bench, I could see the next bench where the control was. So
Cool.
I just went straight for it.
Daisy?
Yeah, I did the same thing. I took a bearing and looking out for the benches, and I also was just following along the edge of it's like a small bank.
Right, so you're using this contour
Yeah.
here just to notice that the area over here is lower than
Yeah.
the area up here, and you could see that change in height was
Yeah, it
quite
stopped me
specific.
from veering off because I knew if I stayed close enough to it,
Yeah.
I was going to be close to the control.
Cool. And that's a really good way to ignore all of these little trees that are close to the control. If you're using something that stands out, like the contour line, the bank shown by the contour line, or the park bench shown by the black cross, then you can ignore almost all of the trees. 12? Another short one?
Again, I just orientated my map and looked up and you could see the flag from 11, so just went straight for it.
Sweet. Short leg, compass leg.
Yeah.
Nice. Daisy? Same?
Same thing. I just followed around the edge of the big tree.
Oh, yep, so you can
And
see
it's-
this big one with its
Yeah.
big
Its
canopy.
branches were coming down.
Yep.
Quite close to the ground.
Cool, and on to 13. Slightly longer one, but looks pretty safe. What do you girls think of this one?
It was a very safe leg, so I tried to pick my speed up a bit because I knew that it was almost finished. So I ran out to the path and just ran along there.
This path here.
Ticked off the bridge.
So this guy should have been quite obvious.
Yeah.
Quite a big bridge.
And then kept going, and I was just aiming for that building. And then when I saw the building, I looked up and I could see it, so I just had to jump up the bank.
Oh yeah, so there's a contour
Yeah, it was quite
through
a
here to
steep
show that
bank.
there's a change in height. Yep.
And then the control.
On park bench again.
Yeah.
Daisy?
I did the same thing.
Yep.
I just saw there was a path going all the way to control, so I just started running along it straight away.
Mhm. Cool. And it's quite safe with these tennis courts on one side
Yeah.
and the river on one side. You get funneled in the right direction, so you can focus on the running at that stage. 14?
For 14, I think a better route would have been to go on the bottom path and enter the control from below, but I didn't actually see that path, and
So you mean this one here?
yeah,
So there's two parallel paths here. Yeah, and you've stayed on the top one.
I stayed on the top one, and then when I got to the junction, I was
Okay, you hit this junction here.
ready to look out for it, and then when it got to the next junction, it was just below it. So
And what's this control on?
it was like a little like a water bed or
It's like a wee
Yeah.
stream.
So it's mapped as a small
Really
water channel.
kind
So
of.
yeah, there
Yeah, it's
might have been
quite
some
steep.
little ditch where the water may have been flowing if it was wet.
A bit muddy,
Yep.
but
Cool. And down to the water
yeah.
channel. And Daisy, did you
Um,
use the top path or did you go straighter on the bottom?
I used a top path, but I made a mistake here because I got a bit excited because I saw
Close to the
I was
finish.
nearly finished, and so I was along the top path, and then I ran past it, like to the junction, and then I realised, but I just kept running down the path to the junction along the bottom and
Bit
then up
further?
the water
Oh, I
stream.
see. So
I didn't just turn around,
you came down this path too far?
and then so I ended
And
up
then
just
coming
turning
back,
around
so
and
you've done a big loop around.
yeah, and then
Okay.
instead of going along by the river, I went up to the top path again.
And you went back up to the
finish.
top and then around. So you've done a little bit of extra distance, so some
Yeah.
room for improvement. Isabella?
For the
Hello.
finish, I just followed the ditch down to the bottom path and ran around the path by the river to the finish.
Yeah, come out and along there to the finish.
I think it just was a bit better flow than turning around and going back up. It was just easier to keep going.
Yeah, especially if it was a bit muddy.
Yeah.
You want to go downhill on the mud.
Yeah.
Uphill on the mud. Cool. Thank you for sharing your course with us and taking me through it leg by leg. And good luck for the long distance, or is that what you call it, tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yep. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I thought that was really useful with the girls, and I hope you find it useful too. Please share this to other beginner orienteers or anyone you think who would find it useful. And please give feedback. It was good to get feedback on the first one. This is targeted at a very different group, and we're totally aware that we may have to change the way we do these videos and the speed that we progress. So please keep getting in touch with feedback and ideas about who benefited from this the most, who wanted to benefit from it, but maybe we were doing it too fast for them or too slow. Let us know. Thanks.